Hi, my name is Taylor Colbert, and I'm presenting my final speech, which is the highlight reel of oral communication. So first we have chapter 1, which is the communication process, and it has 6 different subsections. We have the communicators, the messages, a channel, circumstances, feedback, and we have noise, which is only in instances. Chapter 2 is the perception chapter, and I'll be highlighting fact versus inference. And facts are observable phenomena, which is an example of that is the fact that dirt is brown and that the ocean contains water. Inferences are conclusions that we draw about the facts that we observe. So an example of this could be that I observe that a grassy area is a perfect place for a picnic because the grass is green, there's sunlight, and etc. That would be an explanation of using my facts to make an inference. I'll also be highlighting on perception, the perception related to self-esteem. Self-esteem refers to the value we place on our self-concept observations. Sometimes it can be our worst enemy. Self-esteem and how we feel about ourselves influence our willingness and ability to communicate effectively. Next, we have chapter 3, which is a chapter of language, and I'll be talking about the rhetorical sensitivity. The rhetorical sensitivity is reviewing all of the available symbols and using the one that is least likely to be offensive to the listener. There are 4 different types of different languages that could be offensive to the listener. One is racist, religious, cultural language, which includes words that denigrate someone of a particular ethnic background. We have sexist language, which is denigrate someone based on their sex. For instance, the use of the term girl is referred to a grown woman is derogatory because it implies immaturity. Then we have heterosexist language, which assumes everyone in society is heterosexual. We then have non-inclusive language, which refers to words and phrases that exclude certain groups. And then we have 4, which is profanity, which is the utterance of vulgar and obscene language. Next, in chapter 4, we talk about nonverbal communication. There are more than 6 types, but the book highlights these 6. One being kinesics, which is body. Then we have also smell. Then we have touch. Then we have paralanguage. Then we have space. And we also have artifacts. Also, nonverbal communication radiates from the senses such as sight, touch, smell, and sound, and does not include the use of verbal symbols. Next, we have chapter 5, which is communicating interpersonally, and I'll be touching on listening. Listening is a required skill. It is an active process where you selectively attend to and assign meaning to sounds. Within this, there are goals of listening, which is informative, critical, and active. Informational is listening we need to direct new information and etc. We have critical, which is analytical listening, and then we have active listening, which occurs when we engage the speaker to find out more. There are also 6 types of feedback styles. We have judgment, questioning, directive, empathetic, interpreting, and active. Then we have chapter 6, which is navigating relationships and conflict resolutions. I'll be touching on the conflict styles, and there's 5 different conflict styles. There's competing, avoiding, accommodating, compromising, and collaboration. In chapter 7 is the initial speech preparation, and then this highlights the 7 steps of the planning process, which is select a general purpose, 2 is select a topic, then we have narrowed down the topic, then we want to find the key organizing feature, we want to write the specific goal, write the thesis statement, and then lastly analyze the audience. And this is all part of the planning process of the speech design process. You then have chapter 8, which is constructing the speech, and this has the steps 8 and 9, I believe. And this is a part of the next steps of this speech process, and this has the step 9 is organizing that I'm a highlight on, and this has the 5 organizing patterns for information speeches. That's time, space, topical / classification, comparison, and contrast. We then have chapter 9, which is presenting the speech, which is, we'll touch on step 11 of the speech process, which is delivery, style, visual aids, and practicing. Delivery, there are 4 different styles with articulation, pronunciation, and grammar. Within the 4 different styles, there is impromptu, there is manuscript, there is memorization, and there's also a last one. Then we have visuals, which is visual technology, rules for visuals, and in this, we also, it touches upon the past visuals of how they used to do it with chalkboards or easel pads before computer technology came and presidential styles came. Practice was given the presentation, potential problems in communicating apprehension. We have chapter 10, which is understanding the principles of persuasion. There are 3 types of persuasive messages. We have convince, which targets the audience attitudes and beliefs and values. Your goal is to change the audience's view of the topic that you're speaking on. Then we have reinforce, which is targets the audience attitudes, beliefs, and values. It's the same as convince, but the only difference is the audience already agrees with you, and we're just trying to solidify it a little bit more, reinforce why they should agree with you. Then we have activate, which is for people who are not doing an action that you want them to do. Next, we have chapter 11, which is constructing the persuasive presentation, which contains ethos, logos, and pathos. Ethos is credibility, logos is logical appeals like statistics and stuff like that, and then pathos is emotional appeal with all the emotions that we feel, fear, anger, anything of that sort. Last but not least, we have chapter 12, which is interviewing, and inside this topic, there are resumes that I touch on. And an effective resume must be a visual, attractive, contain no typos, showcase your qualities, strengths, and experience, and then also follow the format required by your professional area. And thank you. That is it. I think I have a thank you page. Oh. I can exit.